We are now talking to NFL Network newsroom ticker and operator writer, Brendan Walker. Brendan, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's your night going?
Well, we're sitting here talking sports. I'm making fun of everybody. Our fans are being asses. So, that's why we're loud, and that's why we're called the Sports Loudmouths. How are you, man? How's everything going over there?
Oh, dude, vibes are great. Honestly, today was an off day for me in terms of gym. So, we're just resting up, playing some games, hanging out. Obviously, just keeping up with the football world and keeping up with what you guys are doing. You guys have high energy. I like that.
Thank you. You're a gym rat, huh?
I got into being a gym rat in March and just been consistent since then. It's pretty much.
I am a gym rat. I've been a gym rat for a while. Ever since my hip surgery and my neck surgery, I slowly have moved back into the gym as much as I have. But I used to train so many different athletes, and I love it. I absolutely love love watching my understanding on how much to build certain muscles, from your biceps to your triceps to your back and your calves and your quads. I love working with athletes because when they see a difference in their body, it really shows what you know and how much you've worked for, all the opportunities that you had going to school and understanding the human body. So
right. It's a process.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. I was trying to spit that out, but it is a process. As everybody knows, we are talking to NFL Network newsroom ticker operator and writer Brendan Walker. Before we get into some football conversation, as tonight, the first preseason game of the season. So football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump off a ledge. No, I'm just kidding. Don't jump off a ledge.
Unless you're a Bears fan, you might have to.
You might, or Justin Fields might have to jump off a ledge on all the tight ends he has to throw to and no wide receivers. But obviously, first of all, how did you start working for the NFL Network, and what made you become a newsroom ticker and writer?
Way back when I graduated college in 2018, I was kind of like most other people, just kind of shooting my resume out there, applying to things, online things, shooting them out everywhere, across the nation, really. Because journalism, as much as you'd think, there's opportunity, but I was kind of very specific about what I wanted. I knew I wanted NFL. I knew I wanted sports, and I wanted to use my degree coming out of college. I didn't want to go work at a Joe Schmo, restaurant or, be a waiter. I wanted to use what I learned in college. So eventually down the road, I got an opportunity to tour the place, and it was just by kind of luck, a little bit of luck in there. I got to meet who is my current boss. They were hiring at the time for my current job. And so the next week, I got the call saying, hey, we want to have you in for an interview. Got the interview. Next day they were hiring. And I was like, boom, I got the job. And it was always a little bit of just good timing. I waited since graduation that May up until that point. I got hired. First day was January 2nd of the following year. So I waited 8 months, something like that, just to get the job. But it was well worth the wait. It's basically a foot in the door for me working at the NFL Network. That's kind of just how I got in. It's been very tricky. The past couple of years since COVID happened, we worked in Culver City. That was the first location we were at. Old building, kind of old style things, a little bit smaller. Then COVID hit. Go through that transition. We're now working from home. The whole newsroom's working from home. Everybody's in a different environment. There's benefits being at home versus not all the time. And then once COVID, we started to figure out, NFL wants vaccination and all that stuff. We started moving it to the new building, which is in Inglewood right now, next to the SoFi Stadium. And through all the protocols and stuff like that, people started coming back into the office. So it's been a little bit crazy going through, me personally, 3 different working environments for the same job right now, which is ticker operator I'm at right now.
Well, I will say this. It's not about luck. What you're doing right now, you earned the right to be there. You've put the time, the energy into your schoolwork and your journalism, and you built a name for yourself. And obviously, when you went to check out the NFL and how the network works, maybe you bumped into the right person, but that's not luck. I mean, obviously, you knew who you were. and he liked your work, and that's why he interviewed you, and that's why he gave you a job. It's not luck, and I've learned that in this business as well as a radio guy. I've been doing this for 9 years, and I'm still waiting to get an opportunity to do it nationally, and I've worked really, really hard. We're on 103.9 FM out here. We have one of the better shows in the whole Long Island, not just regular radio, but we're the only live sports radio show that airs live here in Long Island. So it's, to me, that's a great feat where we've come from what we have done, and we have one of the better digital shows around the country. I really do believe that. I don't think there's any show out there that has the energy, the craziness, and the sports knowledge we have. So I think eventually when the national end sees that, they're going to give us an opportunity. And I can't wait to do that nationally and show people what we can do for what makes us so very different from everybody else. So as everybody knows, we are talking to the NFL Network newsroom ticker operator and writer, Brandon Walker.
So I just want to know, in your time working at NFL Network, there's a lot of personalities that definitely are very interesting on NFL Network. Do you have any good stories about any of them, any of the on-air or even behind-the-scene ones that people watch?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I'd say definitely in working in a live newsroom environment, typically when you're watching the shows, what you see is the guys up front, all the hosts that come through doing the stuff. We're behind the scenes, right? We're in the back, but you get to see that. So really anything that we do in the background, so sometimes we don't really know what we're doing, but it's on TV. Like, for example, one of my Twitter header is me drinking a sip of water. I thought it was cool, but like stuff like that doesn't come across my mind until you like look around and you see the live thing. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, we're on TV. So that type of thing, personally, I've seen other people in newsroom do stupid things, right? Going back and forth when it's crazy, breaking news, stuff like that. I remember Michael Irvin came in for Super Bowl stuff. And if you know Michael Irvin, he's got a personality and it's pretty loud. He came in one time, so funny. He came in just screaming, like not like yelling at somebody, but just so very animated, come in, hey, what's going on, newsroom, like, hey, LA, stuff like that coming in. And, Rich Eisen is there. They're doing all these promos for stuff coming in. It's a very interesting experience because they don't come, like, in the newsroom quite often unless it's a special case. So it was cool, first of all, to see them because they're usually filming from, another location into the newsroom. And just seeing them come in and lively and animated, like, you think about like, hey, yeah, like we're coworkers. We might not be in the same like area, but like we all work for the NFL in some capacity. Really cool to see that kind of happen in the newsroom right next to us.
Well, I know Rich Eisen, obviously. He's a diehard Jet fan. He's been waiting for the Jets to finally get over the hump. And I mean, there's a lot of humps and a lot of shoulders and a lot of whatever you want to call it, walls the Jets had to jump to get Robert Saleh there, to get Joe Douglas there. Your thoughts to some of the acquisitions the Jets made in the offseason, and obviously Sheldon Rankins, I'm sure you heard that monologue. Sheldon Rankins saying that the Jets could be, or he believes are going to be, the best defense in the NFL, adding Kwan Alexander at the end of last week. So where do you see the Jets? What do you think of the Jets after some of the acquisitions in the draft that they had this year?
I think the Jets are in a very interesting spot to me. I think in terms of the division, obviously with the Bills there, it's kind of tough. But as a team themselves, they have a pretty decent roster. I think people kind of don't give them enough credit, I would say. I think if you look at it from top to bottom, you recognize some names that are pretty big names. I know everybody wants to talk about Zach Wilson as of late, but that's a whole nother story. I do like the draft that they had overall. Their first round picks, like nailing that. Like Sauce Gardner, I think he's gonna be a stud. All that stuff. Secondary is kind of underrated. They're trying to get younger, right? Like they're trying to improve. Get. Heard you guys talking fast. Other locations, get people going fast. A lot of depth, and I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't seem like it. Like you said, it used to be like a bottom of the barrel team. It's kind of coming out of that. You're starting to see a little bit more improvement in the depth in the draft. They've been nailing. Joe Douglas, as I heard you guys say, he used to be on the Eagles staff, and I miss him a lot. But he's been doing a great job.
Oh, he's an Eagles fan. I got it now.
The truth comes out.
He's your second team. You should like it.
By the way, my second favorite team. I'm a Jet fan by heart, but the Jets never,
Sure.
for years, the Jets never made the playoffs. So the Eagles did. They didn't win anything, but they always made the playoffs. And I was a die-hard Donovan McNabb fan. I met him twice. I met him in Miami at the Super Bowl. I actually had a nice conversation about his Syracuse. He couldn't believe how much I knew about his Syracuse college career. He was surprised, and that guy is a big monster. He is bigger in person than I ever thought he was when he played on a football field. He's got these big buys and forearms. I mean, I was wowed, man. That guy is a big man. But I like what the Eagles did. A.J. Brown, that trade. I mean, adding Davis in the draft. He's one of the more interesting pieces that they added this offseason, especially in the draft. They got the kid from Georgia in the third round, Dean, who he fell to them. So, and then they added some good free agents, and I think they're going to be fun to watch. They were as good as they were last year. They squeezed into the playoffs. I think they're even better this year. They're winning the division this year. They're much better than the Cowboys, the Washington, the Commanders, and yes, and they're much better than the Giants. And they have a very easy schedule. The way the schedule is set up for them, Philadelphia should win 10 or 11 games this year. They're going to be fun to watch. I really like them.
Yeah, I think they're the most improved team. I talked a while ago on something else. They're the most improved team to me in their division alone. I can't say the NFL because that would just sound super biased, but they really have improved in like almost all areas. But like what you're really gonna have to pay attention to is Jalen Hurts. He's been the talk of the town. You've built around him, how he's built around him, all these additions. You can bring anybody what you want, any player you want. But if the quarterback is not to the level that you're expecting, the team can't really succeed. I've seen that just time and time again. You can have even a great quarterback such as Russell Wilson, who was on the Seahawks, maybe not a great team. He solely carried his team all the time, even if the team around him wasn't there. Jalen Hurts is starting to become in the conversation of he needs to become great kind of now because they've had insurance. They traded with the Saints for a first-round pick next year, actually, as insurance to
2 first rounds next year.
Yeah, they have 2. Sorry, they have 2 next year. They traded with them for another one as protection. Not to say that they don't trust him, but because if this doesn't work, we now have to kind of go looking because we have invested so much. We're not going to let the train go off the tracks here.
Stop it, Mr. Walker.
Do that.
You know what's going to happen.
What's
going to happen. It don't matter if Jalen Hurts has a decent year or an okay year. If he doesn't have a spectacular year, they're going to look for a quarterback in next year's draft. They're ready to win now. The weapons that they have defensively, they added obviously Davis. This team is going to fly. That front, and they added secondary help. They drafted very well over the last couple of years. They moved pieces around. This is a good secondary too, and they're high flying. A.J. Brown over there, Smith. This is the weapon. I've never seen so many weapons in Philadelphia. Even when they won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, they didn't have weapons like this. This team is ready to win now. If Jalen Hurts can't get this team in the worst division in football, it's not even an argument. This is the worst division in all of football. If they can't get over the hump right now, Jalen Hurts is going to be goodbye. That's what they're going to be saying. And hello, whoever they're going to draft, because they got 2 firsts. They can move up in the top 10 and get whoever they want. Whoever they want. So it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun for the Philadelphia Eagles as well.